Okay, so let's crack on with this painting here. So you can see I have a rough sketched out here, and just some trees, the line of the bank here going across, and this is going to be the bank of this side here, the left side coming up, and we'll have some big trees coming up around here then falling over with some nice autumn leaves on them. Okay, so let's get started. And taking my big brush again, okay, my green brush. It's just a normal synthetic brush, and I'm going to go into, now we're going to put some very bright sky in here, okay? There's not going to be much colour in the sky, so I'm just taking some white. So let's just put some white across there now, okay? So I want this nice and bright, and I'm dipping into a tiny little bit of cadmium yellow and the tiniest bit of naples, because I just want to give a nice glow to this sky. Now you probably can't see this on the camera because it's so bright. That's a bit better, isn't it? I want this really, really bright. Now just clean your brush, give it a quick clean, and then let's just go into a tiny, tiny little bit of cobalt blue. Just the tiniest little bit, okay? You want a very, very pale blue just in this corner here. Just creeping into the sky over on this side, and then dip into your white and blend that across. There we go. And just bring the white all the way down, and a little bit more white again. Bring this blue down into it. Oh, there we go. Just like that. Now you probably can't see anything on your screen, but it's very, very, very pale, okay? In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more naples yellow into this just down here. No, that'll do just fine. Very, very simple sky, okay? Very, very bright sky. Now, let's crack on and get into these trees here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some dark colour. I'm going to fill all this in here with some very, very dark colour, okay? Just let me clip my microphone on, because you won't be able to hear me without my microphone, will you? Now, so, I'm going to take another brush for this. And I'm going to take this small little flat brush. It's fairly worn, but that's okay, that's what we need. And I'm just filling in all these trees here off in the distance. Okay, now I'm going to make those nice and pale, so it's going to be kind of a pale pinky blue because it's off in the distance. And that really gives some depth to the painting. So dip into your cobalt blue and a tiny little bit of red and some white. And I want a very, very pale kind of a pinkish mauve kind of a colour. Now let's just test this out. See, that's a nice colour now, isn't it? That's a nice colour to be up off into the distance. And all I'm doing is tapping. Remember? Just tap it along here and there. And we could actually blend this up into the sky as well. So that's that white that we have behind it, blending in lovely. You see that? It's disappearing off into the distance. Now, as we come forward with that, start adding more red, okay? Let's make it slightly warmer. And of course, it's autumn, so there's going to be all different shades of colours in these. So that's a little bit more red we have. And let's add a little bit of yellow to that. Let's put a little bit of yellow in there. That's nice. Nice autumn colours, nice and warm. Now I want to put some darks along the bottom here, okay? Some shadow. So I'm just going to dip into some burnt umber. And let me think now, a little bit of, just try burnt umber just on its own. And just tap a little bit of dark in along there. And then blend it up into that colour above. There we go. That's quite nice. So you can see now all these different tones are nice and warm. Now as we come forward again, let's change to some burnt sienna and burnt umber. Now I want this really dark because I'm going to be putting some highlights on it later, okay? So let's just fill all this in. Nice dark colour. There we go, and we can dip into some burnt umber and a little bit of, let's see, a little bit of black, tiny bit of black. And let's make this nice and dark here. Now, you don't need to be too particular with this, okay? There we go, just tapping this all in doing. And I'm going to make this really dark now again. I'm going to go into some phaylo blue, and remember what I was saying about that, it's very dark. So I'm going to go into some phaylo blue and some cadmium red. And I'm going to make a real dark shadowy colour for this section just here, okay? Now put more red into this, keep it on the red side, not on the blue side. Because when we put in our shadow or highlights later, this will really give it some nice depth. Shadow in behind those trees. There we go. Now there's a little bit of dark green as well just around here. So I'm going to put in a really dark green just there, okay? Well, that's better. And for that I'm going to take some of that phaylo blue again, and let's take a bit of cadmium yellow, and into that let's put a little tiny bit of burnt umber as well, and we have a nice dark, strong dark green just in here. There we go. And I'm just going to turn my canvas just a little here, just to take that shine off of the canvas. It's still there. Let's see if I can just adjust this canvas just slightly. No. There we go. And let me adjust the camera slightly, because I really want this to look right on the video. There we go. Now that's a bit better. Okay, now let's put in some dark brown beside that. And just blend all that in together. Now notice as I'm going closer, they're getting higher and higher. And that gives you the perspective that you want in a painting. Okay? That gives you the impression that it's going off into the distance. And that's what we want. Now let's just add a little bit of yellow in there. Keep that nice and warm. There we go. Well, that's not bad now, just some nice colours. Just put a little burnt sienna just along here, because I just want to make all different shades, different tones. There we go. And also, I'm going to take my blender brush, or the makeup brush, if you want to call it that, and blend these ones off into the distance here. There we go, very gently. See, make a nice little misty effect. That's it. Now, so we have the basic forms of our trees here, okay? And I'm just going to put in some little tree trunks here and there. So I'm going to take my little pointy brush, detail brush and wet that, and then I suppose we could go into some burnt umber and some black, okay? And make this nice and wet, because we really want to see these. Now we're going to be covering some of these as well later with the highlights, so I just want to get some of these in, so it'll be sort of hit and miss here and there. And again, I'm not going into any great detail with this because this is just a beginner's video. It's just trying to teach you the basics. Now, there we go. Just a couple of trunks and twigs and branches here and there. And I suppose we could put in some lighter ones as well. So let's dip into Naples yellow, a little bit of white. And we can put some highlights on these. Now the light is coming from this side, so we're going to have some highlights just along here. And again, a lot of this will be covered, okay? So don't worry, if you make a mistake, it's okay. There we go. Now, right, I'm going to start putting in some highlights on this. And for that, I am going to use, let me just take a look at my brushes here now. We'll decide what brush we're going to use. I think first we put in some highlights with this, okay? It's just a normal flat brush, just like the last time I used, a little worn, okay? And I'm going to just dampen it and dry it on my tissue. And I'm going to dip into some, let's see, now we'll start here, okay? Now because this is a burnt sienna colour, we're going to make this just a lighter colour. So let's go into some burnt sienna and a little touch of cadmium yellow and plenty of white. Plenty of white into that now. Okay? And let's just test this out now and see how it looks. Yeah, not too bad. And I'm only just tapping it very, very gently. See? Very, very, very gently. And just along the edge here, off in the distance. And we can then dip into some yellow. So I'm changing all these tones as I'm going along. Just change all the colours. Just mess around with it. You see? And let's dip back into that yellow, some white, and let's go along here. You see how these brushes create lovely leaves and things like that. So they're very handy for trees. And I'll be putting even more highlights on this now again later, okay? So don't be too fussy about this. And I hope you like these videos, and I hope you follow me along, because it's really, really simple, it really is. Just try it, all you have to do is try. Now, this lovely shadow colour, put some nice bright yellow highlights along here. Just show off the edge of this tree. And you can see, because these are complementary colours, so the purple and the yellows really help each other. They really bounce off one another, you know. And let's go into even more yellow. Nice rich yellow in here. There we go. And over then onto this green tree. And all these lovely colours, lovely autumn colours coming through. Oh, I'm going to put a little burnt sienna again on this, and let's put in a tiny bit of cadmium red, and then some nice white, and that's nice now, isn't it? Let's really show off these trees. Now, I'm just going to clean my brush, and I have a green tree here, so I'm just going to mix up a nice green for this. Just dip into your cadmium yellow, a little bit of cobalt blue, and a little bit of white. And let's start off with a medium shade for this. So this is going to be like a mid-tone here, okay? And we'll go even lighter again on this afterwards. There we are. And I'm tapping very, very gently now just to blend this into the background. Just blend it in. Blend it into that dark. See? And that's rather nice, isn't it? Now along the bank here we have a very bright highlight just pulling through, okay, from the bank. So I'm using a little flat brush again, and I'm just dipping into my cadmium yellow and white, and a little bit of burnt sienna that's already mixed on it, okay? And I have a very, very bright bank just coming up along here. See? Just pull it across. And down we go. And then we have some dark at the bottom end. So let's just go along the bottom end with some dark green. And just fade it off into that riverbank all the way along. See that? Now I'm just going to put a little bit of that black and a little bit of burnt umber just along the edge here. Just here and there, just to suggest some rocks and all sorts of things. Just to give us some nice separation from the river. Right? And that was quite easy so far, wasn't it? Now, I'm going to, now because this is the very central part of the painting, I want to do a little bit of work on this. I really want this section to catch the eye. Okay, so I'm just going to put in some more little branches and things like that here and there. So I'm just going into my lamp black and a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, nice and wet now again. And just here and there, just put in some little branches, little twigs. Okay. And cut in front of those highlights here as well. That really give you some depth. Because of course branches, they're all cutting across in front of each other. Here and there. And this is all wet into wet, okay? Now you can leave it dry if you like. And then carry on. But I like painting wet into wet. It gives a nice soft effect. And let's get some bright ones in as well. Just dip into that white that you have in your palette with the yellow. Just dip into that, nice and bright. And let's put a nice bright tree coming along here. See? That really stand out. There we are. It's just falling over. And let's put just a little shadow on the back of that. Just a little bit. There we go. And that's not bad now. There we are. And I'm going to show you just a little extra tip if you really want to go to town on these highlights, okay? What you could do is just mix up your normal white colour with the pointy brush, right? I'll use my pointy brush and a little bit of cadmium yellow into that white. Plenty of white, and just go along and just little flicks here and there. See, just like that. And that really gives it an extra dimension, don't it? You see, I'll do it here now again for you. Now practice this on your paper, okay, before you go to all this trouble. Practice it on your sheet of paper, just to make sure that you're comfortable doing this. But it's nice just to get those extra little details. That's what we call them, extra little details. You see? It's quite nice. And it really brings your painting to life as well. A couple down here. And then we'll go in with some really bright ones just around here. So let's take some cadmium yellow. Now, you probably have lemon yellow in your box if you purchased a box of a set of oil paints. And lemon yellow would be even better for this kind of work because it's really, really bright. And in fact, I have lemon yellow in my box. I just forgot to put it on my palette, but it's very, very good for this type of work. Really, really bright yellow. There we are. That's just a bush coming down here. There we go. So this is just an extra little step. If you want to go this far, you can. If you want to leave it as it is, that's absolutely fine as well. I just really want this to pop out. That's all. And there we are. And just a couple more just up around here. There we are. All these little details, they really add to the painting when it's finished. Now, so I think we leave it at that. That's nice and colourful and warm. And I think next we should move on to this river. We move on to the reflections, and then we can take our time concentrating on this bank here. Alright? Now, reflections, don't be afraid of this, okay? It's really quite simple. I know it looks very daunting when you see all these colours, but I'll show you just the easy way of doing it. Now, I'm just dampening my brush, and literally all I'm doing is I'm copying these colours and making them darker at the end. Just going to pull them down. Alright? So, let's start off now with this burnt sienna colour here. So let's just dip into your burnt sienna. Now make this nice, a little wet, not too wet, and a little bit of Naples yellow. And that's a nice mix. And just test it, okay? Test it first. If it's too light, add some burnt umber to that. And that's not bad. And we have a little pale colour, so let's just dip into some white for that. And a little bit of cadmium red. And that's those reflections then off in the distance there. You see? Now there's a little purple here, so let's just go into a little bit of cobalt blue and some red. And a little white. Just make a very, very pale, shadowy kind of a colour. There we go. Now you can play around with these colours at home, okay? There's no hurry. You can pause the video and study the video to try and get your colours similar, okay? Just take your time. I'm just coming down here now. I'm going to put a little bit of burnt umber into that. Just along by the bank here. And then it gets darker again. Now remember, this is just a dark shadow colour, okay? We're going to be putting highlights in here again as well. So let's put in some more burnt umber in this. There we go. Just bring that down. And I'm going right down to the bottom of the canvas now with this. Because the reflections will always be stretched slightly. Now I'm doing this vertical strokes, okay? I'm not going sideways, I'm doing vertical strokes down. And now we have a little purple area here with some yellow. So let's just mix up that little purple. So it's just cobalt blue, little red. And straight in, no white, just straight in here with that purple. Just a little. Then dry your brush and let's go into some yellow. Let's take a little yellow with a little brown. See? That's all we're doing. Now let's put more brown in just here. Now don't cover this shadow colour too much here. Let's put a little more blue into that. There we go. And then we have green over here. So let's dip into cobalt blue and a little cadmium yellow with a little brown. Now bear in mind the shadows will always be darker, the reflections, I beg your pardon, will always be darker than what you're reflecting. So if you have a light green tree up on top, the reflection is going to be slightly darker. It's going to be a dark green, okay? Bear that in mind. And I'll put a little burnt umber in here as well. So I'm just going along and I'm just trying to copy the colours as best you can. That's all. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? By no means. And I'm sure there's a lot of artists out there who could give me advice and probably do something their own way. But this is just the way I do it, and I'd like to teach you my way of painting. And it's just basic techniques. That's all it is. Now I want to get a little darker in there, a little brown. Put a little brown across in there. That's better. And I think I'll darken that sienna as well, just slightly here, okay? So just little sienna with some burnt umber on the brush and pull it down gently. Little flicks. There we go. Just little flicks down. Now, so that's the dark done, and let's just put in some highlights on that now as well. Okay? And this is going to really give us a mirror effect. And we're going to be blending this afterwards with our blender brush very gently across and putting some ripples here and there with our palette knife as well. So, a bit of everything in this painting. Now, we have some lights, so with the same brush, just give it a quick clean. Let's take some burnt sienna with some Naples yellow. And we'll have more Naples yellow in this, okay? And it's just these reflections here. So just pull very gently and try and follow that shape. Okay, so they're coming around like that. Just like that. The next one is more or less the same. So let's take some Naples yellow for that. And perhaps little cadmium red. Or sorry, cadmium yellow. Naples yellow and cadmium yellow. And just pull it down just very gently here and there. Okay, just like that. And a little bit on the top. And then we have some cadmium yellow with white for these. So let's just a little here and there. There we go. And we have a little here. And if your brush gets dirty, just give it a clean and start again. Cadmium yellow and white. Just there. Just for that reflection just there, see? Oh, my apologies. And let's get a little burnt sienna with white again for this one here. It's a nice colour. There we go. I think we could get away with that. Now we have that tree as well. So let's not forget about this tree, okay? So let's just take a little Naples yellow with some white. And let's just put that in there. Just like that. Look, same angle. See? Now, this is the fun part. Let's just take our blender brush and I'm just going to lift the canvas up slightly so that I can blend this right down to the bottom, okay? Now, I hope you can see this okay. So, with the blender brush, okay, lovely and soft, very gently just pull this down. Now, I forgot to put in a little white here for the sky, so I'll just put that in, I think. Would that be a good idea? Right, I'm just going to take a little of that white and just fill this in here. And perhaps a little of that yellow, that Naples yellow as well that you have. Let's just put this in. As we're here. Yeah, there we go. That'll do fine. Now, pull it down nice and gently. Straight down, okay, vertical strokes all the way down. And blend in all those highlights. And I'm being really gentle with this now, hardly touching the canvas. Okay? Almost as if you're holding a feather in your hand. Now, once that's done, pull across very lightly. Very, very gently. Just pull it across. Don't be afraid. And just go backwards and forwards. There we go. And that's our basic reflection. Now, let's really make this pop out, okay? Let's take our palette knife. I'm going to use this one. If you have one of these, they will do fine as well, because we're only using the edge. So let's just take the palette knife, right? And let's dip into some of that white. and just scrape it off, okay? Just scrape the white off so you have a little white on the edge of your palette knife, just like that. And just along the edge of the riverbank, let's just put a little white here and there, just to suggest some ripples at the water's edge. Okay, let's do that again. Just along the bank. See? And then you can put a few. Now actually, we'll take some white with a tiny little bit of cobalt blue maybe into that. Tiniest little bit. And let's just put a few ripples just along. All I do is just dragging it here and there, okay? Some very fine ripples. And you can see already the reflection coming to life. And it's really very simple, just try it. As I said, just practice it on your canvas paper, if you have one, or canvas pad. And you'll see how easy it really is. Now with my blender brush, I'm just going to blend those across very, very gently. Just to take that hard edge off of them. Just to blend them into that reflection very slightly. Okay, that's all you need to do. And that is our basic reflection done. And that didn't take too long, did it? And next we're going to move on to this bank here. Okay? Lovely bank falling down. Now let's focus on this bank here, okay? We have a nice little bank coming down and some big trees coming across, falling over the river, right? Now before I do that, I just want to get this shaky bridge in just across here, okay? And I'm going to take my little round brush and I'm just going to dip into some white. Now the shaky bridge is off in the distance here, okay? You can only just make out one side of it. So let's just put it across here. And this is just an impression, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just another little detail, that's all. And it comes up like this. Straight down. There's another one next to it. Like this. And then we have a little arch just along here. And remember, don't be too fussy with this now. This is just a rough impression of the bridge off in the distance. Alright? And then it comes across the top of the bridge, the handrail. Across like that. And let's just make that a little bit brighter there. And then we have some struts coming down. See? It's just a general impression, that's all it is. You don't have to be fussy with this at all. In fact, some of this will probably be covered anyway with the bushes in a minute. So don't be too fussy about this. We have little cables coming along like that. Okay, and that's it. Let's take a tiny bit of black, just a tiny bit. Let's put a little shadow under here. Now you're probably thinking, well, that will have to reflect on the water, and you're absolutely right. There will be a little reflection just here on the water. Okay, nothing too fancy. Just bring it down, just gently, just like that. There we go. And going across here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's reflecting in the water and there's going to be ripples and all sorts of things going through the water. Isn't there? Now, And let's just put a little impression of that brown cable just going across. And that's it. Now if you like, you don't have to, but if you like, let's just take our blender brush and let's just pull that very, very gently down. Just a little. And that's a nice little reflection of the bridge off in the distance. And that's all it is, just a reflection. Now, I want to brighten this area just slightly here with my knife, okay? So I'm just going to take a little cadmium yellow, tiny bit of naples yellow and some white. And let's just really, that's it. I really want this bank here to really pop out, okay? There we go. That's it. Nice and bright. Now, this bank, finally, you're saying, he's getting onto the bank. Let's just start off with a nice dark colour. Let's just take some burnt umber and I think a little bit of, perhaps a little bit of lamp black. Because remember, we're going from dark to light in this. So I'm filling it all in with the dark first. Let's make this nice and wet now, alright? Fill it all in with the dark and then we can put our bright highlights over this to create our little bushes and all sorts of things. Yeah? Alright, let's take some burnt sienna, put some of that in. And I'm going to show you about the fan brush again in a minute to create some lovely leafy effects with the fan brush. And it comes up here and just disappears off up here, okay? And there's a nice big tree coming up along here. Now let's get a really, really dark down here. So let's take some of that phaylo blue with some cadmium red and a nice dark, really dark shade colour down here. Nice deep purple. So I want this to really pop out. Now, I should also use this little brush. There's a little bank just here, okay? So I'm just going to dip into some cadmium yellow, a little bit of burnt sienna and some white. And I just want to create this little bank coming down here. The bank just comes along here, okay? And this is where the tree will be sitting up here then. See? I'll take some more burnt sienna and just make that a little warmer just down here. And a bit more. There we go. Because I really want this bright area to really stand out. So the dark tree behind it then will show lovely. So let's just take some of that yellow and white again. And just drag it across here and there. There we go. That's not too bad. Now, let's move on to our, let's see now. So you know what, now we'll move on to our fan brush. And let's get some nice details in here with the fan brush. Just turn this around here just to keep this shiny light off of this canvas. There we go. I must do a bit of work on my lighting. There we go. Now that's a little better. Right, let's take our fan brush, okay? It's my fan brush. And I'm going to dip into some, let's see, some burnt sienna. I'm only just scraping a little bit of burnt sienna now, okay? Some cadmium yellow and some white on the brush, okay? And lower that onto the very edge of your brush. And let's just tap. There we go. Just tap, 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 tap. Okay? And then let's dip into some red with some burnt sienna. And put some of that. Just along here. And let's dip back into that lovely rich yellow again with some white. And just bring that down there. See? See how this fan brush now is creating all these lovely textures and effects very, very easily. See that? And let's go in here with more. And this is really just for beginners. It's just like a quick and easy way of creating some nice texture and grasses and all sorts of things. And let's take our pointy brush and let's put a little green in there, just a little. So let's take some cobalt blue, some cadmium yellow, and some white. And let's just put a couple of green flicks up here and there. See that? Just add some variation, that's all it is. There's all sorts of grasses and things down by the riverbank here. So don't be afraid. Just go wild. Yeah. And we can go a step further and do what we did over in these trees here and just put some little flicks here and there, just to suggest some little bushes and things all around here. And notice I'm following the lay of this riverbank here, okay? So I'm following the direction of the fall. That's all I'm doing. You see? It's just about following that direction. So you can see now it's just adding a little bit of variation to our painting. And just giving the viewer lots of different little things to look at. You see? I'm just taking some white on my brush and some little bit of yellow and just bringing some flicks up around here. Okay? Just to create that separation. Now, that's not bad. I'm just going to go in with some very bright white again and just put some more of these little flicks around here. Because they're quite nice, aren't they? There we go. Now, so you see now how quickly that turned into a riverbank. And it's really that easy. Just play around with it, you know. There we go. Now let's just get some one or two darks just here, because this light area here, it seems to be affecting the composition just slightly. So let's just cover that a little. With some darks. There we are. No, that's not too bad. I'll just put a few more of these just along here. And this is all wet into wet now. You can leave this dry and come back to it if you like, if you find the colours are just mixing too much on the canvas. Okay? Just let it dry overnight or for a day or two while you're working on something else and come back to it. That's all you have to do. Okay, so this tree here. Now, let's take our medium round brush, alright, and just let me autofocus this here now. There we go. Now, let's dip into some burnt umber. Let's go right into that burnt umber and make it nice and wet and creamy, okay? There we go. And start here and just wiggle the brush as you're going up. And just bring it across. Now this is going to be a very, very big tree, so it's going to be a fairly big thick trunk on this, alright? So let's really get into that. Add a little bit of black into that as well. go. And bring it straight up. And there we go. Let's make this a little thicker just down at the end here. And that's it. So burnt umber now all the time here. So bring this out and let it fall over. That's it. And then let's grab another bit and bring another one over and across. And just keep going with this. Let's just make this a little thicker. So I'm going to have these all falling over all the way across the top of this canvas. Let's bring one down here like this. And we're going to be putting some fine details in here now in a minute as well, okay? Some nice little leaves and things like that. I'll be using a pointy brush as well. So I'm just using this brush to get a lot of these big thick branches in. Now there's another big thick branch coming from a tree here. So let's just bring that into the painting. You see? And we can have another one coming out somewhere here. And in fact I'm going to make this even thicker, because I want the impression that this tree can hold up all these branches. Do you understand? If the tree trunk is too thin, it would look a little silly. It would look like it can't hold up all these branches and tree and leaves that are going to be on it. So make that really, really thick. There we go. I can come back to it again in a minute. So let's just get some of these in here. There we are. See, and then cutting across this one here now, and that's already pushing the other one back. You see. Now we don't need to do too much of this here, because we're going to be putting highlights on this one in the back here. So we're going to be painting over these two branches here again. Okay? So don't do too much of this. Now I'm going to switch to my smaller brush and go back into that burnt umber, and let's take a little bit of black as well. Let's darken that really up, darken that down so we can really see it here in the sky. And add plenty of turpentine into this now. Plenty of turps. And let's just bring out some twigs out of these branches here. And just little flicks here and there. That's all it is, little flicks. And a couple of wiggles. There we go. It sounds like I'm doing some kind of a dance. Little flicks and little wiggles here and there. I'm not much of a dancer, to be quite honest. There we go. And already it's coming to life, isn't it? There we go. And just mess around with this now yourself as well at home. If you want to put more trees in, you can put an extra one, or you can leave out the other one, just put one in. It's up to yourself. Entirely up to yourself. And this is going to look really nice now when it's finished. And all of these techniques now are very, very easy. These are only all basic techniques that I'm using here. And as the weeks go on and I publish more and more videos, I will show you more complicated techniques. I'll be painting more complicated paintings, which will take a lot more work. And I'm going to try and teach you a bit of everything if I can. So this week is all about trees and reflections. We did a video on waves and creating foam and waves crashing over, and we did a sky. So every week I'm going to try and do something a little different, and I really hope you're following me along with these videos. And next week I think I'm going to be doing a nice little sunset. So a nice warm sunset, nice rich colours in the sky. And that's quite nice now, isn't it? And I just want to put one branch just coming off of this tree here and twisting around. There we go. Now I want to put some darks along the back of this tree here, so I'm just going to go in. Now I could just put black on it, but it might look a little bland. So I'm going to put some of that phaylo blue with some cadmium red. Yeah, make that nice dark shadow colour that we used earlier. I think that might work a little bit better. So again, into your phaylo blue and cadmium red, and I want to keep these colours warm. I don't want to go too cold. So there's a little more red than blue in this. There you go. And just flick that around, just follow the curvature of the tree. You see? Now I'm cutting through that branch there, but we can fix that in a minute. Some nice darks on this side. And when we put in our highlights, then that will really show off those darks. There we go. Now, I'm going to take a little black with some blue, some phaylo blue, just along this, here and there, just along this edge. I just want to get some really dark shadows, just here and there. Now, there's going to be a shadow cast on this green area here from this tree, okay? So I'm just going to take my little flat brush, and now because this is yellow, it's going to be a very dark greeny yellow. So let's just go into some black and some yellow, and let's say a little bit of brown, a little bit of brown, so nice dark greeny brown colour, and just tap that in there. See? And that's that shadow then falling down over the riverbank here. Now we have another tree here, so there's going to be a shadow cast here as well, a little shadow. So let's just put a little one in just here as well. And that just tells you that there's another tree outside of the photograph. Just because it's not in the photograph doesn't mean that it's not there. Okay? And there we are. And that's sitting down nicely there now, isn't it? There we go. Now, get some highlights on this tree. I'm going to get a nice bright highlight here now, okay? So I'm going to go into some, let's take some white, and let's take some cadmium yellow, and let's take a little bit of cadmium red. No, but keep this on the yellowy side, okay? Not on the pinky side, on the yellowy side. And let's just test this. Nice warm highlight. And I think we could put a bit of, let's put a bit of sienna into that as well. Ah, there we go. That's much better now, isn't it? Now I could use the palette knife for this as well. And you can, if you like, use your palette knife. But for this painting, I'm just going to use a brush. I'm just going to keep things simple. And let's take a bit more yellow. More yellow in this. Because yellow will always pop out as a highlight. You see that? No, it's not bad. And I'm just putting the brush at a slight angle here. That's all I'm doing. Give a little highlight on this branch. A little highlight on this one. See? That's all I'm doing. I'll take a little burnt sienna and put some burnt sienna just along the middle here as a mid-tone. There we go. And I'm not going too much into this dark. I want to keep that dark. Okay. And in fact, I'm just going to take some of that black and just put it along the back end of this hair, of this branch, and here. There we go. See? That didn't work out too badly at all now, did it? No. We need some highlights on this other branch here, which is cutting across. Okay, so I'm going to cut that across here and bring it down. See? Let's just make that a little thicker here. That's it. So that pushes the other tree back further into the distance. That's quite easy. We'll take some of that dark colour again, some black and brown, and let's just put a shadow on this. There we go. And that's not too bad now. Okay, let's put some leaves on these. Let's put some nice leaves on these. And for that, I'm going to take my medium round brush. Okay. Excuse me. And let's just go into some burnt sienna, some Naples yellow. And let's just start putting some little flicks here and there. And you can take your time with this. Just putting a few little flicks. Just here and there. Now, I'm taking my time with this painting. I want to go into a little more detail with this one. You could, if you're not comfortable with this, you could just use your fan brush and just do some tapping, like we did in the first autumn scene. Or you could use your flat brush with the rough edges and just tap that as well, here and there. It's up to yourself, really. As I said, you do not have to copy me exactly. I just want to get some little flicks here and there just to suggest that there are autumn leaves on these trees. Okay, it's just a suggestion, that's all it is. And you can do just a few if you like, or you can do loads, whatever you want to do yourself. There we go. And let's put some darks in as we get in by this tree. There we go. And I'm just letting all the colours mix now on the canvas here as I go along. Now I'm going to move over to my smaller brush. And I'm going to dip into this yellowy white colour. Alright? And let's just put some very bright highlights. Really, really white, you know, I want this. That's it. And I'm just flicking it around here and there. You see? And don't be too fussy with this. As I said, you can do as much or as little of this as you like. It's entirely up to yourself. And I'm just dancing around the canvas now with this, that's all I'm doing. Because, as we said before, if you focus on one particular part too much, then you start getting lost in the painting and it turns into a lot of work in the end. There we go. That's just a general impression for you. A couple down here just falling off here. See? I'm just messing around, that's all I'm doing. And there we go. And that's a nice little autumn scene. Nothing too complicated. And let's just take some more of that white and put a few little dabs in here and there, just to suggest some little flowers and all sorts of things growing around the place. And I think we're almost there. I'm just going to put a little dark just along that riverbank over here, okay? Just to give it some extra separation from the water's edge. That's it. That's a little better. And again, some white across here. I really want this bank to just stand out over here. There we are. And I think we're almost done. I'm just going to put another quick highlight just on the edge of this tree here with some white and yellow, okay? Just along the edge. I really want that to stand out. Remember, yellow and white is always a great highlight colour. And I think that's not bad at all. So with that, I hope you subscribe and like my page and keep up to date with all my videos. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope to speak to you again soon. I hope you enjoyed this autumn scene of Fitzgerald's Park in Cork City. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.